Well, like I say, well, Chris and Michael for years had been improvising with these characters, these British rock and rollers, in parties and stuff like that. They'd always been improvising. So we said, well, let's do, we'll do a takeoff of these British rockers and we'll put them in the TV show. And when we were doing that segment of the show, they'd improvise, on the set while we were just waiting to, do a shot. And it was hysterical. They were in character. And we said, geez, it would be great to find a way to take these characters and do something more than just this little 3-minute bit. And so that became kind of the beginnings of what ultimately became Spinal Tap. Harry Shearer and I had an idea to do this. After we finished the TV show, Harry and I had an idea to do a film about roadies and what went on backstage in a rock and roll tour. We thought we could make fun and have some fun with it. And then a movie named Roadie came out. We thought, okay, forget that. Meanwhile, Chris and Michael had done a little short of these two rockers that run into each other in a hotel room, and they did it on tape. And we kind of gravitated back towards each other. We said, gee, let's kind of put this together, and maybe we can make a whole movie about these characters and a tour and what goes on backstage, and that kind of evolved in that way. Well, I mean, it wasn't a typical first-time director experience because, like I said, there was no script. And so, it was all improvised, and it was all shot like a documentary. So it wasn't, like having to set up shots in a traditional way that a director would, design a movie. I mean, we were kind of flying by the seat of our pants and, improvising as we went along. And we just had we had an outline with an arc, very loose arc to the whole thing, and then we just kind of improvised the scenes and shoot it like a real tour on band on tour and shoot a documentary, and then kind of shaped it in the cutting room. It took me 9 months to cut that film. So basically the writing for the film was done in the cutting room. We shot for, 25, 30 days, something like that. But we had tons and tons of footage. We had, the first cut of the film was 7 hours long. We had 4 hours of a film and 3 hours of interview footage. Just me interviewing them in all different, places. Well, my character is kind of loosely based on Martin Scorsese's character in The Last Waltz, where he was in the film. He kind of put himself in the film. So I call myself Marty DeBurgi, which was kind of a cross between Marty Scorsese and, De Sica and Bergman and Fellini, and put them all together. They loved it. They loved it. I mean, they saw themselves. And, I've talked to rockers over the years, and they've all seen it. And I remember one time when I was doing Princess Bride, and Sting came in to meet me for a part, and he said he'd seen the movie like 50 times. He says, every time. He says, I look at it, he says, I don't know whether to laugh or cry. And, so many stories of people telling me they have worn out their videos on tour on the bus. They throw it on all the time. They watch it. When it first came out, people thought it was a real band. And then people didn't understand, why would I make a movie about a band that nobody had ever heard of and that was so bad? Why don't you make a movie about a good band like the Stones or something, or Led Zeppelin or something like that? But I said, they already made a movie about this, Led Zeppelin. I said, no, it's like Saturday Night Live, satire, you make fun of it. Oh, okay. It took a while for people to catch up to it and realize that it was a spoof. Well, my favorite line is, there's a fine line between stupid and clever. I love that line, and I love that whole little scene there where Howard Hessman says, I'd love to talk to you more, but we got to go sit in the lobby and wait for the limo. It's like, I'd love to sit here and talk to you, but we're busy. We have to go over there and sit over there and do nothing rather than talk to them. So that, and then of course the scene with Chris, where he says this goes up to 11, the amps go up to 11.